Ads, but apparently
Let us know
dads,
where you
you know,
want us to
it's
jump in or whatever.
really good. It's really good. And and how it's really come around that people are.
Well, if you run out of room, let me know, like they can use the campground.
Yeah.
And that,
Look, I zoom into it and there's Garrett.
and the site should be clear by then too.
Like on the map.
Okay, everybody, we're getting ready to go live here.
Oh, this guy, he's so cool.
Call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Any errors, omission to the agenda?
There is an addition of 9.6, Mr. Mayor. It was handed out to you on your desk.
Motion to accept the amended agenda as presented. Councilor Thurl, all in favor? Carried. Delegations, Hanna RCMP.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I know you have a full agenda this evening, so I've written something out that I will just go through that provides an update on the fourth quarter. Thank you for having me at the council meeting tonight, and my apologies for having to previously reschedule. Just wanted to go over the community policing report for the end of the fourth quarter reporting period, as well as some updates to your local detachment, as well as the Alberta RCMP overall. So since last meeting, Deputy Commissioner Rob Hill has taken over command of the Alberta RCMP. Deputy Commissioner Hill's wide-ranging experience includes some previous time in Alberta as the detachment commander of Stony Plain, among a number of other posts. And he was most recently the commanding officer of Manitoba. And so now he joins us in Alberta. So in local detachment news, as you may already know, this past April, we had our newly created corporal position permanently assigned to Kyle Westcott. He successfully competed for the promotion, and as the second command of Hanna Detachment, Corporal Westcott will be acting as the detachment commander whenever I'm temporarily absent. He has a wealth of knowledge that he brings from his previous roles as a constable, and he'll be a great asset to us in a supervisory capacity as well. So his promotion from constable to corporal now means that the detachment has 2 constable vacancies. And I've been engaged with our staffing officer to find replacements for these vacant positions. I've been advised that Hanna Detachment's been placed on the high priority list for the Alberta RCMP. And it's a matter of time until a recruit from Depot becomes available, hopefully this fall. The RCMP is recruiting heavily, but still not receiving the number of suitable applicants that are needed to fill vacancies. So despite these shortages, our detachment's service levels are unchanged. It just simply means that each of our officers are working some more hours and have a greater file load per officer. During the prior year, the detachment had annual performance plan priorities that included commercial vehicle checks, proactive community contacts, reoccurring media and public releases, as well as school and community presentations. So this resulted in 15 formal community and school presentations conducted by our officers, 158 commercial vehicle stops and inspections, and 243 proactive community contacts at things such as special events like our most recent Canada Day ceremonies, for example, and other activities outside of our regular investigational contacts. And we also did a number of media releases each month. For this year, we've added court-imposed release condition monitoring of offenders in our community who are on pretrial bail or post-conviction probation or other community sentencing. So this is to ensure that there's compliance of offenders to the conditions imposed to them by the courts, such as curfews, sobriety, and residency requirements. Any breach of these conditions will result in immediately reporting to the court of a breach in order to either revoke or amend their bail or recommend breach of probation or other post-conviction measures. So with respect to the crime statistics provided in my report for the last quarter and the year overall, I'll draw your attention to the total year figures for 2023. You can see that in comparison to 2022, property crime reports and other criminal code offenses have overall decreased, while interpersonal crimes have increased to figures that were seen in the 2019 to 2021 period. The combined average of criminal code offenses is down by 15% compared to 2022. Motor vehicle collisions for 2023 are almost identical to 2022. But one specific offense area where there has been a large increase, which was in frauds, which was 126% increase compared to 2022. So while this is a large increase, it's very similar to the level of fraud that we had in 2021. So we had a dip last year. These crimes are almost exclusively committed via remote communication methods such as mail, email, text, and social media. Therefore, the perpetrators are almost exclusively outside of the community. To try and prevent these crimes, our officers have conducted educational campaigns by media release. We've done in-person presentations to seniors and warning notices that you may have seen at point of sale locations for gift cards. And we've also been educating retailers as well if they have buyers of large amounts of gift cards. Despite these challenges of the offenders usually being outside of the jurisdiction of this area, we've had some investigational success in identifying offenders and working with outside agencies to hold some of these individuals responsible. When we last spoke at the previous council meeting that I was at, we discussed the challenges of not having a local paper anymore. I'm happy to report that I've been able to work with Mrs. Armstrong on providing via the town's email and mailbox fan-out system. So most recently, this was a multi-part release on preventing break-and-enters and thefts on residential property. And I'm looking forward to doing more of those as the year goes on important subjects. So I'll go to questions now. If any of you have questions about the statistics or anything else that I talked about, I'm happy to take them.
I noticed the assault check almost doubled. So what are we doing to help solve that?
So we're seeing some increases in domestic violence. So we're with our divisional domestic violence coordinators to work on some strategies there. We've also been working very hard to prevent incidences. So in situations where there's a call about domestic violence, but an assault hasn't actually occurred, we will assist the victim or the potential victim in getting emergency protection orders through the courts, which is an immediate process for getting a no contact order with the potential offender. So those are some of the things that we're doing. We're also adding to our complement of victim services workers. We have a new volunteer who's going through the security clearance process right now. So they'll also be able to assist victims of the assaults to prevent reoffending as well.
So just to kind of piggyback on that, so victim services, is it working well in your mind and dealing with you know, the people you are and the victims of crime? Are they getting the service that?
It's definitely ramped up since it started back up. So some of you may know the previous victim services program disbanded a few years ago. And we basically piggybacked off of another jurisdiction's victim services program, since the province wouldn't allow us to restart a new one just in Hanna, because they're going to this new regional model that's being run by the province. So we forged ahead, even though the provincial program is supposed to start in, I believe, September, so that we can try and make sure that there's continuity. So we're very fortunate. We have had both volunteers come forward who are in the process of training, but also paid employees who are funded by the provincial government through their grant process. And then in the fall, it's going to transition to this regional model, and it's looking like some of those people will transition over. But we don't have a firm timeline or idea about when that's going to happen yet. So
do we have some local victim service advocates now and some being trained?
We have one currently being trained who's local in town. Yeah. And so once their process is completed, then we'll be able to publicly announce their participation.
Thanks.
questions?
I have,
Councilor Murphy?
the other day, I know how much everybody loves social media, but a comment had gone out about the RCMP harassing a family member who'd come to town.
Okay.
And that within minutes of them arriving near the Gray, they were harassed by police officers. And I just wanted to ask, what would have transpired that would make them think that we're carding people or?
Sometimes, in some people's perception, I can't speak to these particular individuals' perception, but sometimes people perceive any police contact as harassment, depending on their views towards the police. So I don't honestly know what's going through their mind, but, what I can say with confidence is that, all of our officers, when they conduct, interactions, it's always for a lawful purpose. And anytime there's a contact that is not specific to a crime, like we're just speaking to people at a public event or something like that, all of my officers are extremely cordial, and I'm confident that anyone that had a concern could bring it forward to our detachment. There's a number of instances where people make statements on Facebook about officer behavior, but they never bring it forward to our office or to me or even at the provincial level. So I would just encourage anyone that actually had a concern to don't just leave it on social media. If you're actually concerned about it, bring it to my attention, and I can address it better that way.
I thought this was a good avenue to talk about it, so it's recorded and hopefully they see it and realize that it's certainly something was up, or they wouldn't have been even speaking to them, so.
I think we have a public complaints process. It's pretty robust, and I think that what I would want people to know is if they had a concern about officer behavior, a lot of our interactions are recorded nowadays, including recordings that are made by us through our in-car system. So we can certainly go back and look at that, and
Do you have the body cameras?
they're coming actually.
Oh, I hope so.
They're rolled out to some detachments in Alberta, and they were doing trialing with one particular company. They found that company wasn't suitable, so they moved on to a new company, which my understand is going a lot better. So they're already field testing them at a number of detachments. So we'll probably see them, I suspect, by the end of the year.
That'll
Yeah.
be-
I'm really looking forward to it as well, because I think it'll cut down on the number of public complaints, and when everything's recorded, it's as clear as day. So
Protects everybody.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Councilor Bowden? Go ahead, Councilor Bowden.
There we are.
You're,
I was just wondering with the new, with the people in town that are dealing with the construction, have they had any complaints against any thefts or any, sort of pranks or anything of that nature, from the locals or, as far as the locals doing that to them? There's been no thefts and there's been no vandalism or anything, is that correct?
No, not to my knowledge.
And just, Councilor Bowden, in reference to the, downtown project and Brooks, nothing that I'm aware of. I know the first weekend, the fence they had up was down, but no conclusion whether someone on purpose put the fence down or the wind came up and took the fence down, but we talk to them on a regular basis and they have not indicated they've had any issues, so.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. That's all I was wondering.
Just for fun, I looked at our cameras at work and it was definitely wind. You could see everything move and then it.
No, okay, yes, it's good to know.
I'd say conclusive.
Just
Okay, that's
funny.
good to know, because nobody was really sure whether someone had.
Yeah,
knocked
you
them
could see the
over.
same moment where there was just a gust of wind and everything started moving and then it whipped and just
Okay.
cascaded down the hole.
Hannah wind strikes again.
Yes.
Thanks for that update. We can certainly.
any other questions? Keep on keeping on, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Motion, we accept our thank Counselor Wellsman for coming in.
Counselor,
Sergeant Wellsman.
lucky.
I'm recruiting, okay?
Are you sure it is?
Yeah.
I don't think I can do both jobs at once.
Good. Also, thanks Sergeant Wellsman and Hanna, the Cashman for presentation, policing statistics 2023-2024, fourth quarter, and, yeah. Motion, Counselor Kroll, all in favor? Carried. Thanks, Rob.
You don't even have to say so.
I'll be up there. Public presentations? Mr. Moore? None? Adoption of minutes of the meeting from, regular meeting of council, June 11th, 2024. Counselor Murphy. Even the owls in favor of it.
That's flirty. man.
It's flirting. All in favor?
You're watching Counselor Bowden, are you, Mr.
Yeah,
Mayor?
you betcha. Finance reports, accounts payable. Any questions? Counselor Bowden? You're muted again. That was a.
Oh, sorry, you didn't see me mouth that, did you? No, my apologies. I was just wondering 043122, it's just a typo, I think. Goose or Goss. Um, there's two different names in there, so, and then on 043123, the Hanna Community Garden Society. Did they receive the full amount or was there a 25% donation? I think everyone's frozen.
Go ahead.
I don't know if Sandra can hear, but I'm just curious on the 4143, a buyer's choice home inspection. I'm just curious about what that actually is.
So as part of the downtown project, we retained a building inspector to do surface level building inspection of all the properties on Main Street, just identifying whether there's any cracks in the walls or anything. Because as we go through the construction process, we wanted before and after, if there any cracks appear or any damage to the building as a result.
Mm.
First one.
Did anybody hear my question?
But all of the business of it, there was one business who, even though we were paying for it, they refused, so.
Something?
What? Yeah, I'm
Okay.
still waiting.
Yeah.
You guys froze and I hadn't been able to get an answer from that 43123.
Yeah.
Take the new chat.
Test again, please.
Had you,
Yeah.
you guys froze and so I wasn't able to hear you regarding an answer for 43123 and the community garden 25% discount or donation, was that received or not?
the discount or the donation, the 25% was received the next day.
Okay.
Okay,
Did you just clarifying, Counselor Bowden, did you want to hear the answer that I gave Counselor Warwick about the buyer's choice home inspection payables?
no, I understood
No.
that and I heard you guys for that, but you guys froze
Okay.
after while I was doing my question, I guess. I was just wondering then, the donation then would come back as a separate line item?
Yes, the donation will show up in our statement of revenue and expense under counselors, I believe, other or public relations, so.
Okay, thank you.
I just have a question in regards to that too. It said 75% or 5,040. So was it a maximum of 5,040 up to 5,040?
So
what we were doing.
is that's what the maximum the town would donate to the project. So you'll see in the payables the full amount,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we do have the 25% was turned in as well, so.
Any other questions? Hearing none, motion for council accept payable listings from general account information. Check number 43113 to 43159, direct deposit 0031116 to 003212, and electronic funds transfers 869 and 872. Motion, Council Warwick. All in favor? Carried. Statement of revenues.
The only general comment I'll make, Mr. Mayor, is that with our cooler than normal up until this week weather, our pool revenues are down. So it's a reflection. It's a reflection of the weather, big chunk of it. So hopefully with some more seasonal temperatures, those numbers will start to pick up. But that's one area that's probably lagging behind where it should be. So.
Any other questions or concerns? Hearing none, motion that council accepts the revenue expense for report for June of 2024 for information. Council Murphy, all in favor? Carried. Budget overview, June 2024.
Just gotta ask, what was the yellow mark? Did you have something on that? That was, oh, was it?
Yeah.
I thought something needed to be
Just
higher.
messing with you.
Yeah, just seeing if somebody had noticed.
Congratulations.
No, nothing to bring to your attention.
Oh,
Bring a sticker.
Hearing no other concerns, council accept the budget overview, June 2024 for information. Motion, Councilor Olson, all in favor? Carried. Capital budget overview, June 2024.
Just, I guess a fairly recent update. So the loader was delivered on Monday. Our new loader was delivered on Monday, and as council's aware, we did advertise the old loader for sale by sealed bids, and we got 3 bids, and we sold it this week for 63.9, I think was plus GST. So it was the highest bid. So
it's not bad, Chris.
yeah, we're pleased with that number. So
Someone local?
yeah.
Good.
We had an opportunity to trade it in. If we would have bought a case, we had an opportunity to turn it in, trade it in, and they were offering 60,000 as a trade-in. So, but we did have some local interest, so we said, we've got local interest, we want to make it available for them first. So.
Okay.
Everybody's good with that? Council accepts second quarter capital budget as updated for June 2024 for information. Motion. Councilor Farrell, all in favor? Carried. Committee reports. Nothing. Senior administrative officials.
So, Mr. Mayor, I'll spend a little bit of time just Director Olson can fill in with what I forgot, just talking about the downtown project. So they're really in their third week of work. All the properties in phase one, so the first block, are on temporary water, and I haven't heard any issues or concerns from any of the businesses that with that. I know the Legion called on Friday afternoon saying they had no water, but if someone had turned the hose bib off on the outside, so that's been working well. We have been progressing, as you know, from west to east down the block. So they're laying in the main sewer lines, and then tying in the services to the respective properties as they're moving down the line. You will see, or you would have seen, probably the space from this intersection here to about the cannabis store. There was contaminated material, so that was all hauled out. The plan all along was they weren't gonna continue to remove the contaminants for the entire road. They move it in the area they needed to work in, and then they laid plastic liner underneath, and will be new clay and new material brought in that's not contaminated. Once we got past that point, the environmental consultants indicated we were free to continue moving forward. There was no concern about contaminants unless we found any as we were progressing. And to date, as we've been progressing to the east, there's been no contaminants that's been showing. So that's positive. I know Councilor Olson was hoping we were low on that number, and I don't want to jinx us, but I think in the first two blocks, the budget that was estimated for removal of contaminated material was 7,200 cubic meters, and I think to date they're at about, well, the first progress doesn't have it all in, but we're probably around 2,000 cubes. So we're about a quarter, just under, maybe over a quarter of what we have for the two blocks. We are anticipating that there could be some as we get closer to the old Truman Ford property. But as we move forward there, we've got the green light. Which one's the? Oh, sorry, where the Checkles greenhouse is.
Okay.
So we're free to move forward unless we find anything as we're moving forward. So that was good news. So I think as of today, I think they said they had 4 services left to do. As they progress to the east. They will begin to, once they get the services done, actually start pressure testing the line, filling it up, and we'll get water flowing out of those into the new properties here probably in the next few days. They still have to install the storm, so it's not as deep. So they figured they could be starting on that as early as Friday, and it's about 1.5 meters deep. So they figure they'll be able to put that in a day or two. And then still a little bit up in the air, but either this weekend or early next week, they'll start on sidewalk removal. So they'll remove all the sidewalks. The first step after they remove the sidewalks is they'll put the curbs in, and then they'll put the conduit in for the streetlights, and then they'll fill with Fillcrete. And that'll need a little bit of time to set up. And then people can continue to use the sidewalk until they put the final lift of concrete on it. So we're getting to the point now where we're probably going to have some more inconveniences to some of the businesses for a day or two. Right now, we've been pretty good, except when they've been putting the service right in front of their building. Then they've had to haven't had as good of access. I don't think anyone hasn't had access yet. I know special areas did not have access to their front doors this afternoon. But that should be rectified in the morning. And so we'll have a little bit of, it'll be a little bit of, we talked this morning, it's a little bit of when is the convenient time to do it. Obviously, we have some restaurants and bars that evening and weekend are important to them. And then we got the other part of the businesses downtown who are closed on the weekends. So trying to find the balance that's gonna work best for all the businesses, but there may be some time upcoming in the next week here where they may not, people may not have access to the front door for a day or two, so. So that's working through. And I think that's it, unless I missed anything that you can remember, Brett. So, no, I guess my comment would be that we haven't seen any major surprises, which is good. There's been a few little things that as we get down and we dig, people, why did they do that? How did they do that way? But we haven't had any major issues today. The only thing was that rain. It's out of our control and it slowed them down for a few days, but today it's so dry they had to add some water to it because it was getting too dusty, so I think that's that project, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to take some time on that one and focus on it. If there's any questions anybody has on it, or if they're hearing anything, do my best to answer.
I haven't had any a few hiccups here and there with the truck traffic and stuff like that. Other than that, it's been neat to follow, because I come down every morning and take a peek and see what's going on, and on my way to work and yeah.
Okay, no, I'll move on then, Mr. Mayor. Palliser Pioneer Trail Road Rehab. So in your information package, correspondence package, there is a letter that we did not receive funding for Palliser Pioneer Trail rehabilitation. We thought that was going to be the case when the mayor and I met with Alberta Transportation. They said they're always very significantly oversubscribed. The plan right now is that project will proceed in 2025. So we do have another window of opportunity to submit an application this fall to a second chance at it. Again, not hanging my hat on getting the funding, but it's worth a shot. So on the flip side, on the positive side, in the package too, we did get approved for our bridge replacement project. So up to 1.4 million. So it's this 75-25 funding. So up to 1.4 million. Talked with the engineers today, and they're going to start working on some more details now and concept on the bridge. They're going to take the Pioneer Palliser Road project and they're going to combine it with the bridge project. They don't think that it will necessarily generate any financial savings, but by combining them, but what it does is it then smooths out the coordination between contractors. If you have somebody doing the bridge and somebody doing the road, so they'll work through that this year. And right now, just so council's aware, the direction that they are leaning as they go through their hydrology studies will be to use a culvert system.
Thank you.
And they do believe, talking with Corey today, he does believe right now, unless something comes out of the woodwork, that one culvert would be enough. So just so you know, that's working forward. The good news was we have funding, which will allow us to replace that bridge. Other than that, I don't know if I have anything. I did want to mention we do have the AM convention in Red Deer, September 25th to the 27th. So I do need to know from council. I know Council Thurl talked to me today. I do need to know who's planning to attend, so I can get you registered for the convention. It is, I think the early bird deadline is August 18th. So if you, you know you're able to attend, let me know, I'll get you registered. And we do have some hotel rooms booked. If, some people aren't able to make it, then we can cancel those. The other thing there is, of course, the Minister of Municipal Affairs always provides a potential opportunity to meet. And I just wanted to see, you had asked for 2023 and we're not successful in getting a meeting with him. I will put in the following request unless there's anything else. That was what we asked for last year, was to talk about infrastructure funding, utility costs, and we were talking about a weather station for the airport last year at this time. So
Is it in Calgary or Edmonton?
Red Deer.
Red Deer. I will definitely go.
It's yeah,
It's like 25th.
25th to the 27th. Yeah, that'll be the second time in Red Deer, so.
I didn't go to the last one.
Yeah, it's you typically Calgary, Edmonton, but this will be the second shot at it, so.
Transportation nightmare.
Before you proceed any further, if I can interject, Mr. Mayor, we're having some technical difficulties with the live stream to YouTube. The audio is working, but the video is not. The viewers are just seeing a black screen. So I would like to stop the live feed. And then I can start it again, but it will be a different link. You'll still get it off of YouTube. I believe, Sandra, it won't affect you or Councillor Bowden, but I'm not certain of that. So bear with me. We will try to be back. I just wanted to be clear what we were going
Thank
to
you.
try to do.
Short recess,
So a
yeah.
short recess,
Okay.
please.
Folks, go to recess. Alfred Olson. See, it's technical difficulty. I'll let you go with that.
Yeah, I don't know. There's no sense. You unplugged that one.
That would have power at the bottom. It doesn't work. I think.
You sure you don't want to go?
One of them maybe.